If you feel that you are a victim of discrimination, so be careful to document everything. But do remember that when you have harassment,
what legal protection exists that many workers don't realize they have? I actually wanted to say the BPAP.
so your question is, what legal protections exist to protect workers?
Yes, that they don't realize they have.
With respect to workers' protection, I can't even begin to tell you how many worker protections there are. So before I do that, let me tell you about what worker protections there are not.
Lost. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Let me hold on. Yeah.
So legal protections, there are a ton. They're like multitude. You've got federal level, which would include things like the Civil Rights Act of 1964, Title VII. You've got the 42 USC 1981. That's the Civil Rights Act of 1866, which is dedicated to anti-discrimination based on race. Fun factoid, people think of race only as like a very few things, but race in the court system in the United States has been interpreted to on a very broad scale. It could be being Jewish, it could be Middle Eastern, Asian, Arab, it could be Native American. Race is very broad. I've even seen possible Italian could be race. That's a very good statute to sue under. You also have something that is not very well known, but I love to use it because it's very powerful, and that would be the civil part. Civil meaning money damage versus criminal, going to jail. Civil part of the Sex Trafficking Victims Protection Act, being used in the context of any sort of sexual assault at work. And that does work. And then you've got, the ADA, discrimination based on disability, ADEA, age discrimination. You've got the Sarbanes-Oxley whistleblower protections, Dodd-Frank. I mean, you've got a whole multitude of federal protections. And then below that, you've got the states. And the states generally give that and more. There won't be limits, for example, on what you can recover, or you can recover more types of damages. And very often in big cities, such as New York or Miami or any of the big cities, they'll have their own laws. And sometimes those laws are even more protected than the state laws. And so there's a whole bevy of cases that you could use to protect yourself and fight back so you're not such a victim anymore.
Thank you. And in the UK, we have a commission for racial equality appointed by the Secretary of State, especially in the elimination of discrimination in the field of employment. So yes, we have different commissions, we have different mediation put in place. Just like you said, the state, the federal, the state, and then possibly the local authorities or local government. That leads me to what we call the point where someone begins to document or seek legal advice. What should they document? I'm talking about documentation when it comes to wanting to seek a redress.
I'll say this, documentation is very important because it helps you remember everything that happened and you can refer back to it. But it's a double-edged sword, because remember, if you remember something later on that you didn't document, and the other side is going to get a copy of that documentation that you're using to document whatever happened to you, it's going to be used against you. So I have a way of dealing with that. Okay. And so it's important to document. But guess what? It's important to keep it confidential. And my advice is to establish a relationship with a lawyer early on, and then prepare that as a communication to your lawyer for the potential lawsuit. Now you've got attorney-client privilege. So any documentation that you're doing, a quick email, hey, this happened to me today, this happened to me, if you just want to remember things. Otherwise, if you are going to document, and it can help, just know that that is not for you and you alone. The other side can get that, and that can come back and bite you in the ass.
So what would be the best way forward then?
Best way forward is the first thing you should do is if you feel that you are a victim of discrimination, sexual harassment, retaliation, call a lawyer. They will walk you through it. They'll take the notes from you. But you reminded me of another important thing. In many places, in many states, record them. Take your little phone out, press the voice record app, put it in your pocket, and have that conversation that you were going to have. It depends if you're in a one-party state or two-party state, meaning do both parties have to be aware that it's being recorded, or does only one party have to be aware that's being recorded? I actually once had a sexual harassment and assault case where my client was being sexually assaulted by her boss, and she ended up, just to make sure that she was going to have a case because her boss kept on saying no one's ever going to believe you, she bought a pen that had a camera and recorder in it, and it was right there on her desk, and that pen camera recorded much of the sexual harassment, and this guy coming over and groping her and doing all these disgusting things. So that would be the most incredible evidence ever, because that doesn't lie. There's another thing that you can do. You happen to be in a state that allows you to do it.
Oh, thank you so much. That was quite handy. She was quite lucky and fortunate to have her pen. Nobody would have. I was actually gobsmacked when you said a pen had a recording device with a camera. Wow, that's ingenious. Thank you so much for that. So, how can survivors protect themselves before formally reporting abuse?
Preparation is key. Like I said, document everything as we discussed, like I mentioned. Just remember, it's going to be evidence in your case, so be careful to document everything unless you're sending it to your lawyer or doing it for your lawyer. Also, you have to make sure that you read the employer's employee handbook, and it says these are the instructions if you feel that you've been harassed. You must, if you feel you've been harassed, call this number and file a complaint. You got to do it. You got to do it. Or it could say you need to report it to your immediate supervisor. Guess what? Let's say or a supervisor. Let's say your supervisor is the harasser and you've already reported to them by saying, look, you're harassing. Or like, stop it. I don't want to do this. That could be enough. Also, it's important at that point to gather witnesses, maybe even a quick text message to a friend or a colleague who's witnessed any of this. Say, oh my God, did you see what he just did to me? Or did you hear what he just said? Lastly, preserve all of the evidence. If you've got text messages, emails, I want screenshots. I want you to forward emails to your personal account to the extent they could be used as evidence. But do remember that when you have harassment that was being committed by someone high enough in the company, you don't need to follow the handbook. You don't need to have complaints to HR. The company is automatically liable. Lastly, speak to an employment lawyer. Speak to someone who knows what they're doing, who could walk you through this whole process. Oh yeah, and one more thing, probably the most important, make sure that you speak to a therapist. People don't realize that the sexual harassment, the discrimination that they're here. Remember, you're not just being like picked on because of your nationality, religion, pick it, whatever, age, picked on at a place where you should feel safe. You're being picked on by somebody who's in a position of power over you. The amount of weight that can have on your psyche, on your mental health, please go see a therapist. There are, if you have health insurance, you could do it through that. You can go on Psychology Today and watch videos and see which person you might match with. Or there are tons of agencies out there that will help you, that will find you even free therapy to deal with this kind of stuff.
Be safe and be positive. And don't forget to check out our social media handles. Thank you. Bye for now.